Hello, Mr. Wow. Hey, everybody. The cat from my last countdown video is back. This is a countdown video that I've actually been wanting to do for a while. It's 5 of my personal favorite game franchises that were, for the most part, were exclusive to the 6th generation. So, number 5 is wrestling games. You're probably thinking, like, wait a minute, wrestling games are still around. That's true. However, ever since the 7th generation, it's basically just SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, or WWE 2012, etc. And then you have that one game on each console. I mean, you know, it's the same game on all 3 consoles. However, during the 6th generation, each console had its own show. Case in point, like, you know, PS2 had SmackDown, Xbox had Raw, and GameCube had the pay-per-views. Now, these are 3 of my personal... Yeah. Well, anyway. For example, PS2 had SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth. Yeah, nice title for a game. I mean, it was one of The Rock's most infamous quotes, but still. This was probably one of the best wrestling games ever made because, well, one of the things that made it such a great wrestling game was that if you're doing a hardcore match, the moment you left the ring, there was no limits as to what you could do. For example, if you went backstage, anything and everything could be used as a weapon. I mean, you could literally drive forklifts into each other. And if it was a winter pay-per-view and you went outside, you could throw snowballs at each other. Now, Raw 2 for the Xbox had probably one of the best entrance creation modes I've ever seen. It just was so detailed. And you could, to my knowledge, the Xbox was the first console that you could burn music into, music CDs into it, and you could use these for your entrance themes without having to make single song playlists or any of that stuff. And then GameCube, a little dusty, had Day of Reckoning 2, for example, and the character customization mode in this was, there was like no logic. I mean, you could make a medieval knight, you could make a robot, you could make a mummy, you could give them wings, you could give them a life preserver, you could give them one of those spinning cylinder things that you see in front of barbershops, I forget what they're called. And you could also adjust the sizes of these props and put them like anywhere on them. So for example, you could shrink the wings and make them really small and put them on their head or something. But yeah, so that was... I kind of miss when each console had its own unique wrestling game, but I guess it's easier to just mass-produce one game and put it on all 3 consoles rather than make 3 different ones for each one. But and if you think about it, it's better for the consumers as well. Now, moving on to number 4, we have Power Stone. These games are, which, you know, I'm throwing some Dreamcast in there, because that was, even though the Dreamcast was short-lived, it was still a 6th-gen console. The Power Stone games, they're pretty much like, I almost said Power Rangers for some reason. They're pretty much like Smash Brothers, but there are some key differences. Like, it's, for one thing, it's the battlefield or the levels are more 3-dimensional, and you have a life bar, which when it runs out, when you KO'd for the match, you're out for the rest of the match. You don't come back or anything. A lot of people say that this is like the Sega version of Smash Brothers, which I wouldn't agree necessarily because, well, first of all, it's actually made by Capcom, and you have characters which are basically exclusive to this game. They were made specifically for the game. A Sega Smash Brothers, which I actually made a video about it a while back, a Sega Smash Brothers game would be like, you know, you'd have characters from Sonic, Shining Force, Virtua Fighter, Streets of Rage, etc. So this isn't necessarily Sega Smash Brothers. It's still a fun game to play. It was such a, especially with friends. You have the Power Stones. I don't think there's a picture of one on here, but anyway, I think there's 8 of them all together, and if you get 3 of them, you get like a temporary power-up. My favorite character was always Ryoma, who's like the samurai. I don't think there's a picture of him on here, actually. Well, he's on the back, though, if you can see him there. Unfortunately, these games are very expensive, especially the second one, which The second one would definitely have to be my personal favorite out of the two. But that one, if you want to complete, goes for like, I think $100. But unless you just want to play on emulators, you can get this collection, the Power Stone Collection, which is a ROM hack or a homebrew, whatever you want to call it. It has both the games, and the way it works is when you put it in the Dreamcast, it'll be almost like a computer menu screen. So and it'll show a picture of the two games. So you move the arrow to the game you want to play, and just click on it, and there you go. You know, that's yeah. Sorry, throat's drying up. But moving on to number. Oh wait, scratch that. Moving on to number 3. I reached for the wrong one. That's what she said. It's Destroy All Humans. Now these games did run into the 7th generation, but those ones I didn't like it as much as these ones. These are pretty much like Grand Theft Auto, except you're an alien named Crypto, who kind of sounds like Jack Nicholson. The aliens species are known as Furon, and the one you play as Crypto. He's sent down to Earth by this other alien, like general type guy named Pox, who's voiced by. I can never remember his goddamn name, but it's the same guy who did the voice for Invader Zim. So Pox like sends him on all these missions and stuff. The first one is about like kind of taking over the U.S. Because there's this, you come across this what the hell is the word, like corporation called Majestic, which they're kind of like the Men in Black but more corrupt, and they're the ones that have been like taking dissecting all the Furons and stuff. So you try to take them down. That's like what the first game is pretty much about. So you kill the leader of the Majestic, and she says that the Majestic are worldwide. That's just the U.S. one is just one branch. So, Crypto, I almost said Krypton. Crypto, after taking over the U.S. and killing the Majestic leader, he becomes the new president of the U.S. The game takes place in the 50s, and then the second one, which has to be my personal favorite of the series, out of like the whole series, I played all of them except for the. Anyway, this one takes place in the 60s. Instead of, you remember the old saying, "Make love, not war"? On the back of the box as a joke, it says the other way around. You have all your same weapons in this game. I forgot to mention that, but as well as a bunch of new ones. My favorite weapons would have to be the meteor gun, which is like you lock onto something and a meteor will fly down, and also the disc locator, which it shoots out a disc into people or objects, and it sends them flying and ricocheting and shit. But then, I'm trying to think what else there was. You also have telekinetic powers and a UFO, which you can use to blow up buildings. All those are in the first one too, except for the disc locator. You only have 4 guns in the first game, but the second one you have a ton more. The plot of the second one is Pox's ship is blown up by Russia, so Crypto, who's still the president, is like in this one you travel all around the world, which is one of the reasons I like this one. You go to England, Russia, and Japan, I believe, or it might be China, but I think it's Japan. And I think it's the 4th one you go to China, and I think in this one you go to Japan. I always get them mixed up. What was I? But so Pox actually has his consciousness in like a projector thing, so he still talks to you and gives you missions and stuff. You have side missions. In fact, there's a Furon god known as what the hell was it? Arc Voodoo. So you start like a cult with this like old hippie guy. He talks kind of funny. He's like, "Hail Arc Voodoo, ruler of the sacred crotch." But yeah, that's what the second one is. That like I said is my favorite. I think there was. I'd love to see more of those games because unfortunately they kind of died off with THQ. But I think there was a remaster for the PS4, which I haven't played it. I talk, my throat dries up. Number 2 is XMen Legends, which it's a 3D beat 'em up with X-Men. It's the X-Men universe, a 3D beat 'em up where it's for 4 players, but if you're playing by yourself, you can control all 4 of them. Oh, I mean you can switch between them, and the computer will control the characters you're not currently playing as. God, I played the shit out of this game. I have the sequel too, but it's on a different console, and I had that for the GameCube, but that's a whole other story. These games, I love these games. I love the X-Men in general, and funny thing, to be honest, I kind of agree with Magneto's whole, plot, if you will. Magneto's intentions. The second game, which is more about Apocalypse, and you play as both the Brotherhood and the X-Men, which is awesome. The second one, there's actually an interesting little glitch in the game, because you go to Manhattan, and for some reason, there's a part when you sneak into this area to steal some computer chip or something, and like I said, I played this on multiple versions of XMen Legends 2, and each version, this glitch I encountered. See, when I snuck into this area, I had Jean Grey, Cyclops, Colossus, and Iceman. And it's like, after you steal this chip, you fight, the guards or something. And during the fight, the game would freeze. Like I said, I tried it on different consoles, and I tried, different versions of the game, and I tried it multiple times. The game would always freeze. So, it's definitely some kind of a glitch in the programming or something. But the thing is, I was like, let me try using a different group of characters. So I did, and the game worked fine. So it's just something about those four, Colossus, Iceman, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. Using those four in that scenario causes the game to freeze. Why? I don't know. But coming down to the last game, it's Timesplitters, which, oh my god. There was only 3 of these games. There was supposedly they were working on a 4th one, but I don't know whatever happened between that. I think there was supposed to be a collection for either the PS3 or the PS4, and God, we need more of these games. These need to come back, but it's a first-person shooter where you actually travel through time. You can actually see a couple of the characters on the back there. There's the guy from, the English guy from World War II. There's a 70s disco guy, and the girl she's from the 90s. These games were so much fun. There's actually quite a cult following for these games too. Now, the first one, which I believe was exclusive to the PS2, I need to get the other 2 games. This is the 3rd one. But that game, the campaign was very weird, because it was almost like a scavenger hunt. It's better. The campaign mode is better in the second and third game, and the first one is really weird. But the deathmatch! Oh my god! For starters, you have all kinds of wacky characters. You have a gingerbread man who's in all 3 of them. There's a mummy. Actually, there's 2 of them, but they brought him back in one of them. There's a pirate guy. There's mutants. There's zombies. There's robots. The 3rd game has a character that's a sock puppet with sock arms and finger legs. There's all kinds of weird characters. That just made the deathmatch so much more fun. And there's different game modes. Instead of capture the flag, just capture the bag. One of my favorites that was, I think only the second one, they took it out of this one, was called Flame Tag, where somebody's on fire, and then if you touch somebody else, they're on fire instead. Your kills only count if you have to kill the person who's on fire to get points. And then the first game, oh my god, because my brother had it, and years ago, I think he sold it and rebought it, but there was, 2 old friends of his would come over, and we would play that game for hours. And a funny thing, my brother made up this new game mode, which we called Duck Hunt, because there was a character who was a duck guy. His name was Duckman Drake, and he has a Donald Duck voice. So we would, my brother created this mode called Duck Hunt, where it was team deathmatch. It was the 4 of us against 10 Duckman Drakes. So if there was a bunch of them, if you had a machine gun and a whole bunch of them would run toward you, start shooting out of them, they'd be like, wah, wah, wah. Oh my god, that game was a blast. Like I said, they need to make more of those games. If you never played them, you definitely should play them. So, anyway, that's it for this list. If you're a fan of anime, be sure to come back next week, because I got a very special review. And that being said, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, everybody.